Welcome to the second part of fruit structure. And in this part, we will be talking about the fruit itself after we talked about flowers. And now we are moving to the fruits. The fruit structure is called fruit morphology, which is basically made of some parts of the remaining of the flowers, like the sepals. For example, if you look at apples or pomegranates, they are parts of the flower that exist in the fruit, and we call those parts the calyx, which is basically a collection of different sepals. So the sepals can be part of the fruit. After that, we have fruit coat, or the skin of the fruit, the outside of the fruit. Then the fruit itself is made of 3 layers, actually. The outside layer, especially the fleshy fruit, the outside is called the exocarp, which is outside the skin. And then inside of that, there is a mesocarp. And then inside of that, the part that carries the seed is called the endocarp. So any fruit is divided into 3 sections. The outside section is exocarp, and the section with the seed, that's endocarp. And in between, it is called the mesocarp. In addition, of course, it has seeds inside. And these seeds are matured ovules. As you know, fruits are also mature ovaries. So seeds are mature ovules. Inside the seed, there's embryo. Okay. So basically, the ovules will give you the seeds, and the ovary will give you the fruit. That's how the structure of the fruit is made of. And these fruits are very different. Each fruit is different. The apples is different than the mango, different than the grapes, different than the dates, and so each one is very different. For example, inside of the apple, there is the whole ovary structure. Outside is always exocarp. Remember, outside here, outside the skin is called exocarp. This is exocarp, the skin. That's exocarp. Okay. So the skin is, the red is exocarp. Now, where is the meso? It's easy to tell where the exocarp, and the endocarp is also easy because anything that surrounds the seeds is called always endocarps. Mesocarp is a little bit tricky. In apples, this area between inside of the ovary is called mesocarp. And actually, the outside, that what we eat in apples, is not really part of the mesocarp, even though it is between the endocarp and the exocarp. It is actually a layer that's called hypanthium, that's why apple is actually accessory fruit. Like banana, like strawberry, these are all accessory fruits. They are not normal. They did not develop straight from the ovary of the flower. They are extra things in the fruit. That's what makes them accessory fruits. Based on this definition, like there are so many different kinds of fruits, we divide the fruits into different types. Let's start with simple fruits. Simple fruits is just one fruit coming from single ovary, but they can be flesh, like they're soft, or they can be dry. If they are flesh, that means all or most of the pericarp, which is the exocarp, mesocarp, endocarp, is fleshy and soft at maturity, like grapes, peach, olive, cherry. All these are soft, and that's why we call this fleshy. As long as the exocarp and the mesocarps are soft, it is actually a simple fleshy fruit. Remember, this is single ovary, not one fruit coming from one ovary. The dry fruits, we already defined it before. It's actually, all of it is simply dry. Like lily, corn, wheat, oats. There is nuts that are also like hazelnut, chestnut. These are also dry fruits, even though they are nuts. But fleshy fruits are all of the fruits that we eat. They are mostly fleshy fruits. So now we understand one fruit coming from an ovary is called simple fruit. There is also another thing called compound fruits, and these are multiple carpels of one flower. In this case, we call it aggregate, like strawberries, or multiple flowers from forming multiple ovules or ovaries, and we call them multiple fruits. So we have aggregate fruit and we have multiple fruit. Aggregate is like strawberry, multiple like pineapple. So here's the difference between these two. So we have simple, that means one ovary will give us one fruit. Finish. That's it, easy. We have aggregate, one flower will give us more than one ovary. So this is called aggregate. Then we have multiple, which means more than one flower will give us more than one ovary, or more than one fruit. So that's called multiple. So we have multiple, we have aggregate, and we have simple. This is example. Now this is aggregate. How do I know this? Because it's just one flower. It has one set of sepals and one set of petals, but it has many ovaries. So this is one flower, but it has more than one ovary, multiple ovary. It gives us aggregate fruit. Okay, so this is aggregate fruit. How about this one? This is only one ovary, right? There's only one ovary. Here there's more than, in strawberry there's more than one ovary. Here's just one. So here we have one ovary, one flower. So this is one flower, one ovary. Then we call this simple. Simple, it is true, it is simple. However, remember, this is also accessory fruit because this has hypanthium. This is hypanthium. Where is hypanthium coming from? From this part. This one, which is not part of the flower actually. It grew to become hypanthium. But in general, this is simple fruit because it came from one ovary. However, this is aggregate because it came from more than one ovary, even though it is from one flower. So this is the ovary. It is one, so it gives us simple flower, simple fruit. We already talked about this. Now this exocarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. Okay, sometimes it's called epicarp or ectocarp or exocarp. Normally we call it exocarp. And endocarp is the one enclosing the seed. So whatever is inside the seed is called always endocarp. Whenever it's outside, it is called exocarp. In between, either here or inside, it is called mesocarp. So the drupe is actually a stone fruit or drupe fruit. Why? Because the endocarp is hard. Endocarp is hard. Okay, so we have fleshy mesocarp, fleshy exocarp, but the endocarp is very hard, and that's why this is called drupe. So this is basically the morphology of the fruit. We have the seed, which is basically a mature ovule. We have the embryo in the seed, and we have the ovule itself, and we have the ovary, which is the fruit. This is repeating the same thing. We have simple fruits and we have compound fruits. Simple fruits can be fleshy if all the parts, or at least some of it, is fleshy, like grape, peach, olive, whatever. Or if all the three parts are dry, they are hard, they become dry, and includes things like chestnuts and another fruit crops. Like all these are fruits, they're dry fruits, even though they are not fruit crops. Compound fruit is made of two main groups. One is called aggregates, which means one flower, one flower, but multiple ovaries. But we have also multiple flowers, give us multiple fruits. So we have simple fruit, compound aggregate fruit, compound multiple fruit. Example of these, simple fruit like mango, citrus, banana, all of these are simple. Compound fruits is like strawberries, raspberries, and so on. Multiple fruits include pineapple, monstera, even mulberry. So you can see here, each of these is actually a fruit, came from a flower. So this has more than one flower, more than one ovary. Develop this fruit, which we call multiple. So here this is compound, but multiple. This is called aggregate. Why? Because it came from one flower. This is also multiple, forsad, mulberry. And this is also multiple because these are all multiple flowers in the fig, but they are inside. And each of these forming its own ovary and making one complete fruit. So in this case, more than one flower give us more than one ovary, and therefore this is called compound multiple fruit. This is simple. We call it pome fruits. This includes pear, كمثرى, apple, quince. All of these are pome fruits. This is of course simple. That means one flower, one ovary. Compound aggregate, you already know. The strawberry, the raspberry, the blackberries, all of these are single flowers, but they give you multiple ovaries, and that fruit that came from these ovaries is called aggregate. Of course, aggregates are also multiple fruits, and they can be accessory fruit, because whenever you have parts, what does accessory means? It has parts of the flower. It has calyx, hypanthium, receptacle, all kinds of things. If these are there, then it's called accessory fruit. So now you know there is a simple fruit, which means one flower, one ovary, one fruit, like citrus, pear, whatever they are. Two, compound, and this is made of aggregate, which is more than one ovary, more than one fruit. And we have also multiple. That means we have more than one flower, more than one ovary, give us multiple fruit, and example of these are many, including pineapple, mulberry, what else? Monstera, fig, also part of this word. Monstera is part of this one. All of these are more than one flower and more than one ovary, and give us one fruit, though. It's just one fruit. Okay, so this is an overview of the fruit structure. Inshallah, I'll show you with real examples how these different structures, different fruits are made. If I have flowers, then I will show you the flowers too. So inshallah, we'll be able to see through video different samples of different fruit structures and fruit types. Simple, which is made of one ovary and one flower, or compound fruit, including one flower, more than one ovary, more than one flower. Of course, there will be more than one ovary, and these are called multiple fruits. Okay, so inshallah, we'll see you next time. in a video to illustrate these different types of fruit easily, so you can easily understand what it is. Inshallah, I'll find a video for you. Beside, these are the lectures that are needed in this section. So good luck, and we'll see you in the upcoming lecture. Goodbye.